Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be comparing the Paul Rubens Student Grade Tube Set. This is the 36 color tube set with the Artist Professional 24 count pan set. There are some direct similarities. Hi kitty cat. I have a friend. There are some direct similarities. I've done my best to pair up the colors by pigment and then also by the name of the color, just to kind of see what matches the best. So the other day when I received these, I went ahead and swatched out the, this is the 24 pan set, and I was so impressed with these colors. I actually immediately went to painting and just did this really quick little sketch and really loose florals. I was really happy with it, mostly because the colors are just so vibrant. It was very inspiring to open these up. I actually got the tube set first. I found it used for a really excellent deal, and I was just so impressed by the quality of those paints. I didn't even realize that they were the student grade. So I have rearranged them to make today's video a little bit easier for me to go through. So again, it comes in another one of their super sturdy boxes. I have actually not been keeping them in this box, and I've been using the box as a tray because it's so nice. It doesn't have the same microfiber cloth. It comes with this dust cover, which you can kind of see is a little bit see-through there, but it's still very pretty packaging. And this is the layout. The one tube that's missing is the Chinese white, which I just left inside because I know I'm not going to be needing that. The way I have it laid out right now these are colors that have a pretty good corresponding color in the pan set, and these are ones that do not. This set, I believe, came with, I'm trying to remember, but it came with quite a few single pigment colors, and I ended up pouring them into some DIY pans that I made, and I've used them quite a bit actually for painting. So you can see most of them have about half left. These are 5mm tubes, so there's quite a lot left to give in these. So I'm not sure if I'll need to do refills or not, but they're really beautiful to work with. So next I want to show you the swatches that I took of these on the whole. We can set them side by side with the other swatches, and then we will do some live painting with them. So this was actually the first nice set of paints that I purchased from just online in general. So the paints that I had at home, I did have a Cotman Winsor Newton set that I bought when I was traveling abroad several years ago, and then I also had a koi set. But this was the first type of liquid watercolor that I tried, and I hadn't discovered, buying empty pans and such. So I actually went to my Dollar Tree, and this is something I would be happy to do a review on, to do a DIY tutorial on. But this is how I laid out my paints. This is actually, I have them Velcroed in here so they don't flop around when I'm moving. But this little box was $1, and then each of these. So total, this cost me $3 to pan out. These are pill organizers, and they each have, so this would be the 7 days, AM, lunch, and PM. And I just took the little lids off, and then the other nice thing is they're color coordinated. So I actually got yellows in a yellow container, I have reds in a red container, blues in a blue, so on and so forth. They couldn't all fit because it was 36 colors. I wasn't able to fit them all in one palette. So, because this only has 21. So what I did is I made two little palettes, one with my jewel tones and then one with more natural colors. So if I wanted to just take one of these out to go sketching, I would probably take my natural color set here. Whereas if I'm doing something more, imaginative and creative, I've got this set here. When I swatch them out, that means I have two separate cards. So this is the jewel tone set. and this is the natural set. They are much more pigmented than you might can tell just from the lighting. And they were so easy to pick up, of course, when they were wet, but I've been amazed at how moist and yet not too runny in the palette. So they dry down pretty nicely. They're tacky, but not so sticky that they're sticking to my finger. And for the most part, I haven't had any cracking. The only one I see a little bit of is on this one right here, and it's not really cracking so much as just it's spread out in the pan and there wasn't enough to fill it. When I first got these, I didn't know if I would like them, so I just put dots in some of the pans. Some of them have flattened out on their own, as you can see. And those are the colors that I've used the most, so they got more water in them and they kind of, spread out while I was using them. The ones that are, still in like perfect dots, those are the ones I haven't really used. So there are some duplicates from this palette to this palette, but not very many. So the next thing that I have done is compare and try to find the most coordinating colors from one set to another. So that's what we're going to do now. So I'm going to take out this is the 24 count professional set. This is the 24 count professional set, which we're going to take out of the box here. Now, one thing I noticed in preparing for this video is that the 24 count have very different pigments by and large. So there are a lot of single pigments in the student set. They're still excellent colors, but they are different pigments. So that's something that I wanted to point out. I have done a little bit of painting with this, definitely a lot more with this one, but I would say performance-wise, they're both very pleasurable to work with. I very much prefer the dry pans in general, but this is such a nice flexibility to be able to create palettes like this. Isn't that nice? It's just so easy. Snap, snap. Okay, so moving on, we're going to just compare some colors side by side. All right, so moving on to our color comparison, I'm using my Grumbacher size 6. This is a fairly inexpensive size 6 round brush, but it is probably my favorite that I have. No, it's definitely my favorite size 6 that I have. And then this is, as always, this is Canson 140 pound weight. And then I'm going to be using the smoother side to do my swatching so that I can save the other side. I pretty much paint on both sides of my paper unless it's something that I'm going to hang up. I mean, this was swatches I did of some paints I received in the mail, and then my painting is on the other side. I don't like to waste paper. So the first color that I want to compare is their lemon yellow, which in the 24, move this. So in the 24, in the pan set, the lemon yellow is made with PY3. Intensely pigmented, very luminous, free-flowing. I really didn't want to get too much water there because I don't want to have to replace my water too soon. So that is the pan set. And you can definitely build that color up. It is delightful. And then, let me get this out of the way for the moment. And then the permanent lemon in this line is actually, in my opinion, more pigmented. It's not quite as luminous, and it is made with PY 184. So just a totally different formulation, but a very similar color. I'd say it's slightly cooler, maybe, than the one from the pan over here. There we go. Yeah, I'd say the one in the pans is slightly warmer. So I will write that on here for you. This is PY3, and this is PY 184. So we have pan, Oops. And then over here we have tubes. Student grade. I have not tried their professional tube set yet. Okay. The next color I want to compare, there isn't really a good comparison for their cadmium yellow. So that's the second one in the palette here. So with the pan, that's the color we're looking at. I will show you a couple of the other yellows here, and just so you can see, you know, kind of what you have to work with, but they are not single pigment colors in the student set. So that's clearly not a match, at least to my eyes. Wow. I think that's much warmer in person. Let me see if I can, if turning down my lighting will help with that at all. I think that's a little truer to color. They're still a little too bright, but oh well. I don't have studio lighting. And then that is the other color that they have in this set. So in the student set, we have a Azo Yellow Medium. That one is this color, which is PY 154 and PO 62. This one is an Azo Yellow Deep, which is PY 154 and PO 43, as compared to the single pigment PY 35. So I'm going to put stars next to, I think, the winner, and I would say this color in the student I prefer, and this color here I really like. And it's hard for me to find a warm yellow that I really, really love to work with. And this is really perfect. This is a perfect yellow, and I love that it is a single pigment. Okay, next one in their set is an Indian yellow, which I'll just put here, and I won't swatch out anymore because there isn't an equivalent at all in the student set. The closest thing would probably be an orange, which this is their permanent orange, which is not a color I particularly love. It's not as pigmented as I would like. And that permanent orange is also a mix. That is PY 154 and PO 73, whereas this Indian yellow is PY 83. So this is the clear winner here. I think that the small range of yellows in this palette is just perfectly chosen. This is their orange, which they call a Cadmium Red Light. There is a cadmium in this set. I'm sorry, there is a variety. I would say this might be close to their permanent red light, or even the vermilion. This color is made from PR 108. And I just to have a comparison color, we'll put it next to permanent red light in the student set. Which is PR 254. Similar, definitely not the same. This one obviously has more of a red tinge to it, where this has got more yellow in it, more orangey tones. So again, I really like this color for an orange. It's not too neon. I'm gonna vote for that one there. The next color is Scarlet, which I would compare most to their permanent red deep. They're very similar. I actually really love this permanent red deep color. It is semi-transparent. Alrighty, let's see. So the Scarlet is PR 123. And this permanent red light is, and this is the downside, a blend of PY 154 and PR 101. It does go on highly pigmented. So if I just needed this color, I would take this one. If I needed to mix, I would take this color. The next color in the pan set is Madder Red. Made from PR 177. I'm really impressed at the number of pigments that are single pigment colors in this set. This is the Madder Lake Light from the student set. And this is the Madder Lake Deep. Now, I think the light is maybe a closer match, but the deep is just one pigment. This is PR 264. They both contain that color. And then this one is PR 264 and 254. This has a little bit of a cooler tone, in my opinion, than the two from the student line. The next color is violet. And they use PV19. There is a permanent blue violet in the student set. It's probably the best comparison, but it is not really a comparison at all. This color is far better in pigmentation and is a pure color. This is PV19 and PB29. Now, I will say that this one is called Permanent Blue Violet, so that's why you've got that blue in there. It's got some ultramarine mixed in, and I think that's probably why it has a slightly lighter quality to it, because that ultramarine, usually dries down a little bit lighter in value. This color is just beautiful and pure. So the winner here for me is the pan set. As far as these reds go, this one dries down so nicely that I really love that one, but I also appreciate the one that comes in the set. I think it's just fine. But this Permanent Red Deep, this is Madder Lake Deep. It's just a gorgeous color. Okay. Next is Permanent Violet. What happened here? I'm sorry, this is their Permanent Violet. I got out of order. This is Violet, which to me is like a purple lake color. I could compare it to the Permanent Red Violet in the student set, or perhaps even their Quinacridone Rose, which is a color I love. I love, love, love this color from them. It's definitely closer to this color, but I really wanted to show this one because it's really good for mixing. This is a straight PV19. This one is also a PV19, so just slightly different formulas. And then the one from the artist set is also PV19. Okay. Yeah, I skipped one. All right, now we're on to Cobalt Blue. Okay, and there is a cobalt mixture in the student set. It is PB29 and White 6. So it looks richer simply because it is blended with that white, so it is more opaque. So I would always go for this one over the blend, but this color is gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And there is a good variety of blues in the student set, so I can see why it's fine to have that one in there that's mixed, in my opinion. Because we do have a pure ultramarine, which is the one we're going to see next. So the French ultramarine from the Rubens pans. There it is. And the ultramarine, it's called Ultramarine Deep from the tubes. Looks like this. They're almost identical. This one seems to just flow slightly better. And they're both PB29. The next one is Sky Blue. So in the pans, that's PB36. And honestly, I don't think there's really a great comparison color in the student's set. It's almost like Prussian, but of course there's also a Prussian Blue in the pan set. I'm going to go ahead and swatch the Prussian because I actually think this is the better match for it as you start to get more diluted. And the Prussian Blue is PB27. I'm going to put in parentheses Prussian. PB27. Because our next color is Sea Blue, which is a phthalo. Kitty cat. She's sitting behind me. You silly cat. Okay. This is 15.3. And then the phthalo in this set. Ow! She's clawing at me. Stop it, cat. It's just PB15. Stop it, cat. You're hurting me, kittykins. Ow, ow, ow. Very different color. This one is more of a red shade phthalo. And of course we've got a green shade phthalo over there. As far as paint quality, this one is the clear winner. Of these two colors, I really like this Prussian, but they aren't a direct comparison either. All right, cat, you're killing me, cat. You're killing me, Smalls. All right. The next color is their Prussian. Which I will take Prussian out of my palette again. Well, that went on super pigmented. That's one thing about the tubes is when you re-wet them, they really absorb that water quickly and they get deeper and deeper as you're using them. So sometimes they almost get too sticky. Okay. Next is the Payne's Gray. And they are the exact same formula. I'm not going to write it down. But it is PB15, PB29, and PBK9. If I let that dilute out a little bit, you'll see that they are pretty similar. This one has more black in it, in my opinion, and this one is more blue. Next is a yellow-green, for which there really is no match at all. This is almost neon. Very, very yellow. In fact, it's yellower than that, but I think my paint is a little bit... My paint water is getting a little dirty, so... Okay, so the closest thing would be their permanent yellow-green. But it's not even, I don't even think it's not even sort of the same thing. So this is a really interesting and unique color. And it is PG36 and PY74. Okay. Next is their tree green. Okay, let's see which one I picked. So P. I never did pick a color that I thought was really similar. This has a lot of yellow in it. the Hooker's Green Light. There's a Hooker's Green Light and Dark in the student set, and this is that color. But again, not even a comparable color. So let's see if I can grab some more pigment on that one. Yeah, the greens are just totally different. The next one is Hooker's Green Brilliant. And there is a Hooker's Green. There's two different Hooker Greens in the student set, and they are not at all the same. So I definitely prefer all of these to the students as far as just pigment selection. The student set having 36 colors actually to me feels a little bit more limited. So that's the Hooker Green Deep in the student set. Okay. Next is Emerald Green Deep. And this one to me could compare to both the Phthalo and the Viridian. So here is the Phthalo, which is just slightly more blue. And here is the Viridian. I think Viridian is the closest match. Which, no. Okay. Let me pull those out real quick. The Phthalo and the Viridian are both made from PG7. And the Emerald is also from PG7. So that makes sense that these are more comparable colors. Look at all that lovely color on our screen right now. Okay. Next, we have Yellow Ochre, which I love the Yellow Ochre in the pan set. It is so easy to get the color on the page. There are a couple of colors that are similar. There is a Yellow Ochre included in the student set. This is that color. It, to me, is much browner. It's a muddier color. It is PY42, which the Yellow Ochre and they're both PY42. However, I think that the Gamboge, which is PY154 and PO48, is also a comparable color, as well as their raw sienna. Like, they're all very similar. Nope. I may not be able to get enough pigment. This one I really struggle to get enough pigment out of. But these are both PY42. And, you know, up here in the greens, it just really depends on what you're wanting to paint. I think you can get a better mix of natural colors with these here. To me, these are just a little bit too neon for a natural painting style. But they are gorgeous, gorgeous colors. And as they're starting to dry down, you can see that there's not really a lot of difference at all. And to me, the quality is very similar. These aren't quite dry yet. The next color is their Puzzoli Red Ochre. And that is PR101. There's not a great comparison. There is a mix in this set, which is their Burnt Sienna. That's somewhat similar. They're just different colors, honestly. But you can see the similarity. They both contain PR101. PR101. And then this one adds PBK 11. All right, next is Umber, which is a mix of 101 and red and brown 7. That's pretty. I got a drop of water in that. So also comparative here, I think. There's some comparison there. The browns in the student set are not my favorite. I'll just put that out there. They are really hard to build up color on, and to me they're a little bit unnatural. So this is a clear, this professional set is the clear winner. Okay, next is Burned Sienna, which I could compare to their Burnt Umber, strangely enough, because the Burnt Sienna just really is too red. But this is their Burnt Umber. So it's kind of strange. I don't know if they just had a naming issue. Since this is not an English-speaking brand, that's maybe it's just a mistake. I don't know. Burned Brown is next, and it's PBR 7. And to me, it's most closely related to the Sepia, which I'm pretty sure is supposed to be sepia, but there is a typo on the tubes, and it is Sepia. So this is PBR7. The other one I'm going to show you, the sepia or the Sepia, is PBK7 and PR101. I think these are clear winners in the brown tones. And then the last one is just to compare the blacks. There's a coal black from PBK7 in the professional set. Which you can build up pretty nicely. And I actually have never used, that's a lie. Okay, here's this one is ivory black in the student set. And it is from it's a mix. It's PBK6 and 9. And it is a warmer. This one's a little bit warmer. Oh, you can't see that. Okay, last thing is to compare the blacks. This one is PBK7. And this is a PBK6 and 9. And to me, this one is just slightly warmer, but very similar colors. Turn it this way so we can get the whole thing on camera there. Oh, there we go. There we go. I can go ahead and try to do a little bit of lifting on these just to show if there's any differences there. So let's try over here on the professional. That's what happens after the fact. And the student. I think the student is a tad bit more staining there. This one has a nice amount of granulation in it. This Prussian is not the same thing, which it's very staining. The student colors appear to be very staining. And they're all really good as far as pigmentation goes. The student tube set is not like highly opaque. And you can see just on the paper how easily they re-wet and lift. Very staining color there and there. The professional does a much better job of lifting than those two do. Just kind of staining color. Staining. That honestly looks better than I would expect from a yellow. So there you have it, the student and the professional sets compared, color by color. And of course you get a lot more colors from the student set. I can't really tell you, price point wise what to spend. They're very similar in price point, but you do get more colors from the student. I would personally, now that I've had the opportunity to get it, I would go straight to this set. You don't need 36 colors. You don't need 48 colors. This pan is perfectly sufficient for anything you could possibly want to paint. The colors are vibrant enough to paint fantastical things, and there's plenty of single pigments, and the browns and greens are not nearly as unnatural. So I think you can get a good variety out of this without any problem at all. So my recommendation is this set, which, goes on sale occasionally for about $30. I found this set used, but everything in it was still wrapped. It was sealed in the packaging. So, and I paid $28 for it. So no reason at all to go out and spend an exorbitant amount on these things. Check them out. I mean, I feel like a lot of times people buy the sets, they use them. I could use this for years and still resell it to someone else because those pans last. Unless you are a professional and you paint all the time, in which case you're probably not going to be using this anyway. You can really get good use out of someone's used set. Just clean off the tops of the paints, and then you're good to go. Thank you so much for watching today. I really enjoyed this. This is a nice, fun, colorful video, and I can't wait to do the next one. Bye.